Podcasting 101 with me, your host, Rachel. This podcast is for female business owners and solopreneurs that are looking to start a podcast that adds to your own already awesome offering. I'll give you helpful advice that you can take away and use in your podcasting journey. I hope to answer those tricky questions that just keep you from starting. Once a month, I'll be joined by other female podcasters. They'll share their journey with you and offer tips and advice they discovered along the way. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome to episode 17. This episode is looking at intros and outros. So, as you've probably deduced, the intro is where you introduce yourself, and that goes at the beginning of the podcast, and the outro is where you sign off, and that goes at the end of the podcast. For my podcast, I use an evergreen intro and outro, which means it stays the same every week. I pre-recorded this at the beginning of my podcast journey before I started making my episodes. And then when I edit, I put this intro and outro on my episodes. So what do you include in an intro and an outro? So in an intro, I'd recommend that you introduce yourself and the podcast, tell the listener what it's about and who it's for. And then the outro, you sign off, thanks for listening. Then you have a call to action. What do you want them to do now? Do you want them to follow you on Instagram? Do you want them to go to a Facebook group? Do you want them to DM you? Let them know what to do and where to do it. Ask them to like and subscribe to your show. Perhaps reference your show notes for the links. If they want to remind them, they can go to your show notes. You can do this every week if you want to. You can do a live sign off if you prefer, if you want to add specific details in for the next episodes or what's coming up. Or you can pre-record them, which is what I've done. Time-wise, I would keep it to 30 seconds to a minute. You don't want it too long because people might lose interest and switch off before the end. As you can tell by my intro, I have some music. Most podcasts that you'll listen to have a bit of music when they're intro and outro. So choose some music that you like. You can get some music for free or very little for the license. I have used a company called Melody Loops. So I will link that in the show notes. And I have also come across a guy on LinkedIn that provides music for podcasts. I think it's The Scared Cat. I will link that in the show notes as well. What I'd recommend you do is to just listen to a few different podcasts and have a think about their intros and outros, what kind of information they give, what do you like about it, what do you not like about it. And then I would use this to shape your own intro and outro. So that's quite a short and sweet episode this week. There's not much detail to the intros and outros. They are very simple. You can update them as you go along, as your podcast evolves. Perhaps if you have got a new Facebook group now you'd like them to go into, you can include that. You can update your intro and outro. And I would recommend that you do that just to make sure that it's relevant. I mean, if it's still relevant when you first recorded it, absolutely fine. But just bear that in mind. If your podcast has started to evolve, it would be good just to review your intro and outro at different times. As always, if you have any questions about this topic or you'd like to get in touch, then please do. I love to hear from you. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Welcome to Podcasting 101 with me, your host, Rachel. This podcast is for female business owners and solopreneurs that are looking to start a podcast that adds to your own already awesome offering. I'll give you helpful advice that you can take away and use in your podcasting journey. I hope to answer those tricky questions that just keep you from starting. Once a month, I'll be joined by other female podcasters. They'll share their journey with you and offer tips and advice they discovered along the way. Let's get started.